Mangaroo's Tutoring Services Mathematics Classes. Fractions, worded problems. Example 1. Danny has 84 marbles. He gave Stefan 1/3 of the marbles and Ken 1/4 of the marbles. What fraction did Danny remain with? So note they are asking what fraction did Danny remain with and not what amount. So they gave us two fractions, 1/3 and 1/4. And these two fractions are given away. So Danny no longer has those two, so we're going to sum them together to know the total fraction that Danny no longer has. So 1/3 plus 1/4. So there are more than one way that we can add fractions. We're going to use the LCM method for this first question. So we find the LCM, the lowest common multiple of 3 and 4. So 12 is divisible by both 3 and 4. Or in other words, 3 and 4 can go into 12 without a remainder. 3 into 12 is 4. 1 4 is 4. Plus 4 into 12 is 3. 1 3 is 3. So we add now. 4 plus 3 is equal to 7. Put back the same denominator of 12. So Danny no longer has 7/12. So what fraction does Danny remain with? 1 whole, take away 7/12. A whole is used for whatever amount, it doesn't matter the quantity. Whatever quantity it is, we refer to that as the whole or 1. So we're going to take away the fraction that is given away from the whole, which is 1. So 1 can be written as 12 over 12, seeing that we are working with 7/12. 12 over 12, which is a whole, subtract 7/12 will give me 12 minus 7 is 5. 5 over the same denominator, 12. So the amount that Danny remains with, the fraction that he remains with, is 5/12. So let's just make sure that we are clear on this here. So they told us, or they asked us, what fraction and not what amount. If they asked us what amount did Danny remain with, which is different from fraction, we would have multiplied the fraction that he remained with by the total that he started with, which is 84. 12 into 12, 1. 12 into 84, 7. 5 times 7 is 35. And that would have been 35 marbles. But that is not what they are asking us. So if they were asking us that, that is what we would have needed to work out. Okay, so question 1. Jill owns a big box of crayons. She lost 1/8 of her crayons and sold 1/4 of them. What fraction of the crayons does Jill still have? Okay, so whether it be lost, whether it be sold, whether it be given away, whether it be stolen, whatever the case, she no longer has those two fractions. So we're going to find the sum of those two fractions. So 1/8 plus 1/4. So 1/4 can be written as an equivalent fraction of, if we multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2, we'll get 1 times 2 is 2 and 4 times 2 is 8. That way it would be easier to add 1/8 plus quarter, which is also 2/8, and we'll get 3/8. So Jill no longer has 3/8. What fraction of the crayons does Jill still have? Of course, we always start with a whole, or the total is always a whole. So 1 whole take away 3/8. A whole can be written as 8 over 8. Take away 3/8, which will give us 8 take away 3 is 5. So that's 5/8 that Jill still have. Example 2. Diana has a collection of 72 books. She lent 1/9 to her neighbor and gave 1/3 to charity. What fraction does Diana have left for herself? So we are seeing that she lent 1/9 and gave 1/3. So she no longer has those two fractions. So we're going to add those two together. 1/9 plus 1/3. So we can change 1/3 to 9ths by multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by 3. We get 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. So we're going to change this third to an equivalent fraction of 3/9. So 1/9 plus 3/9 is equal to 4/9. So that is the fraction that she has given away. So the fraction that Diana has left for herself is 1 whole take away 4/9. So let's work that out here. Whole take away 4/9. We can write a whole as 9 over 9. When we take 4/9 from it, we'll get 9 take away 4 is 5, so that's 5/9. And part B, how many books did Diana keep for herself? So she started with 72 books, and now she has 5/9 of those books. So 5/9 of 72. 9 into 9, 1. 9 into 72, 8. 5/8 are 40, so that's 40 books. Always remember to put your units. Question 2. Simon has a DVD collection of 75 DVDs. He threw away 15, gave away 25, and kept the rest. What fraction did Simon, part A, throw away, B, give away, and C, keep? So we are seeing that he threw away 15. So let's work that fraction out. So that's 15 out of 75. 5 into 15, 3. 5 into 75, 15. 3 into 3, 1. And 3 into 15, 5. Or we could have said 15 into 15, 1. And 15 into 75, 5. Okay, so that's part A, he threw away 1/5. Part B, we are told that he gave away 25, and that's 25 out of 75. 25 into 25 is 1, and 25 into 75 is 3. Part C, what fraction did Simon keep? So he gave away 15, he gave away 25 and threw away 15. So we need to add those two amounts that he no longer has, and that will give us 40. So if he started with 75 and he no longer have 40, and he now has 35 DVDs for himself, and as a fraction that will be 35 out of 75. So keep in mind, you can always write a fraction as a certain amount out of a certain amount. In most cases, these worded problems, we would need to use a certain amount out of the total. Okay, so 5 into 35 is 7, and 5 into 75 is 15. So Simon keeps 7/15 for himself. Example 3. Tommy has $120. He gave 1/6 to his brother, and he put 20% of the remainder in his piggy bank. How much did he keep for himself? So we are seeing that he gave away 1/6 and he put 20% of the remainder. So firstly, we need to find the remainder. So that is an important word here. And when we find the remainder, then we can find 20% of it. Alright, so he gave away 1/6. Okay, so his brother got 1/6. So if he gave away 1/6, it means that he remained with 1 take away 1/6. That can be written as 6 over 6 take away 1/6. 6 take away 1 is 5. So that remains with, we remain 5/6. So he, after giving away 1/6 to his brother, he remains with 5/6, and that's the remainder that they are speaking about here in the question. 20% of the remainder. So we need to find 20% of the remainder, or the remaining fraction, which is 5/6. So let's look that out. 5/6, 20% we multiply by 20 over 100. So off, 20% off means multiply by 20%, or 20 over 100. Okay, so cancel these end zeros. 2 into 2, 1. 2 into 10, 5. 5 into 5, 1. 5 into 5, 1. So that's 1 times 1 is 1, and 6 times 1 is equal to 6. So his piggy bank also has 1/6. 1/6 again being 20% of the remainder. Alright. So if Tommy gave his brother 1/6 and he put 1/6 in the piggy bank, so we consider the 1/6 put into the piggy bank as a fraction that he no longer has. That we will assume that for now. Okay, so 1/6 plus 1/6 is 2/6. And from the whole, he no longer has 2/6, so we're going to take away 2/6. So we can write that as 6 over 6 for the whole. Take away 2/6. 6 take away 2 is 4, so that's 4/6. So Tommy keeps a fraction of 4/6 for himself, but they're asking us how much, and this speaks about an amount, not a fraction. Okay, so 4/6, we can reduce this or simplify this by saying 2 into 4 is 2, 2 into 6 is 3. And the total amount that Tommy has is 120. So we're going to find we're going to find 2/3 of 120. So 3 into 3 is 1. 3 into 12 is 4. Put back the n 0. 2 times 40 is equal to 80. That's $80. Question 3. Donald had $150. He spent 1/5 on food and quarter of the remainder on drinks. What fraction is used on drinks? Okay. So again, quarter of the remainder. This is important. So we first need to find the remainder before we can find quarter of it. So if we spent 1/5 on food, we need to find the remainder after spending 1/5 on food. So 1 whole, which we can write as 5/5, take away 1/5, which was spent on food, will give us 4/5. So we're now going to find quarter of 4/5, or quarter of the remainder. Quarter of the remainder is 4/5. Cross multiplying, we get 4 into 4, 1, 4 into 4, 1. 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 5 is 5. So he also uses 1/5 on drinks. Quarter of the remainder is 1/5. Okay. So what fraction is used on drinks? Right, so we already worked that out. That is part A. Part B. What amount is spent on drinks? So we know that he had a total of $150. So we're going to find 1/5 of $150. Five into 5, 1. 5 into 15, 3. Put back the n 0. 1 times 30 is 30. That's $30. So $30 was spent on drinks. Part C. What amount of money did Donald remain with? So if 1/5 is $30, and he spent 1/5 on food and 1/5 on drinks, that's 30 and 30. That's a total of $60. And he started with $150. We simply subtract what was spent to know what amount of money he has remaining. 0 take away 0 is 0. 15 take away 6 is 9. So he has a remaining amount of $90. Example 4. 3/5 of Stacy's money is $60.60. How much is Stacy's total amount? So we have an important note that follows. When given a fraction, and this can also be a decimal or percent, once it can be written as a fraction. So in this case, a fraction, 3/5, is equal to an amount. So we have that fraction being equal to an amount. 3/5 is equal to $60.60. We can find the total by flipping the fraction and multiplying it by the amount it is equal to. So let's apply that. By flipping the fraction is 3/5. So that would be 5/3 if it's flipped, and multiplied by the amount the fraction is equal to. So we know that the amount is $60.60. So 3 into 3 is 1. 3 into 6 is 2, put back the 0, so that's 20. And 3 into 60 is also 20. Okay, so 5 times $20.20. So 5 times 20 will be $100. And 5 times 20 cents will give you $1. So that's $101. So the total is Stacy had $120 total. Question 4, which is similar. 3/4 of William's money is $105. What is William's total money? Part B, what is 2/5 of William's money? So again, reminder of what we just read here. When given a fraction that is equal to an amount, we can find the total by flipping the fraction and multiplying it by the amount it is equal to. So the total, we flip the fraction and multiply it by the amount it is equal to. So 3/4 flipped would be 4/3, multiplied by the amount it is equal to. So 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 10 is 3, remainder 1, 3 into 15 is 5. 4 times 35, when we multiply that we will get $140. So that's part A, what is William's total money. So many times when we are given a particular fraction and we need to find another fraction, we would firstly need to determine the total amount. So even if they didn't ask you to find the total money and they only asked to find a fraction, a new fraction of the money, we would have needed to work the total. So keep that in mind. Part B. What is 2/5 of William's money? So we know that his total money is $140. So we just simply need to find 2/5 of that, multiply by 2/5. So 5 into 5, 1. 5 into 14, 2, remainder 4. 5 into 40, 8. 2 times 28 is equal to 56. So that's $56. So that brings us to the end of the first video on fractions worded problems. Thank you. Example 5. Tim had 160 oranges. He gave 2/15 to his neighbor Carl, 1/5 to his friend Jill, and he sold 3/10 of the remainder. How much did Tim remain with? We need to find what fraction was sold. They are telling us that he sold 3/10 of the remainder. The remainder would be that fraction that remains after he gave 2/15 to his neighbor Carl and 1/5 to his friend Jill. So we're going to add these two fractions together. 2/15 plus 1/5. We're going to change the 1/5 to 15s by multiplying by 3 both on top and below to make it an equivalent fraction. So 2/15 plus 1/3 is 3 plus 5/3 are 15. 2 plus 3 is 5, that's 5/15. Reducing this, we'll get 5 into 5 is 1, and 5 into 15 is 5. Sorry, 5 into 15 is 3. Mistake. Alright. Okay, so Tim no longer have 1/3. So he remains with 2/3. We can work this out by saying 1 whole take away 1/3. A whole can be written as 3/3 take away 1/3, and that is equal to 2/3. Okay, so that's telling us that he sold 3/10 of the remainder, and we know that the remainder is 2/3. So 3/10 of 2/3 will give us 3 into 3, 1, 3 into 3, 1, 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 10, 5. So 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 5 is 5. So 1/5 was sold. That's a fraction that was sold. Okay, so Tim no longer has the 1/3 that he gave away, and he no longer has the 1/5 that was sold. So Tim no longer has the 1/3 and the 1/5. So we simply need to add these two fractions together. Okay, let's go. We can find the LCM of 3 and 5, which is 15. 3 into 15 is 5, 1 5 is 5, plus 5 into 15 is 3, 1 3 is 3. So that will give us 8/15. So Tim no longer have 8/15, so he remains with a fraction of 1 whole take away 8/15. This can be written as 15/15 subtract 8/15. That will give us 7/15. So he remains with a fraction of 7/15, and we know that from the question Tim had 160 oranges. So 7/15 of 150 . So it's supposed to be 150. This is a typo. This here is supposed to be 150. Okay, so let's go. 5 into 15, 3. Or what we can do is 15 to 15, 1. 15 to 15, 1. Put back the 0. 7 times 10 is 70. So that's 70 oranges. Question 5. Amanda had 150 tickets. She lost 2/10 of the tickets. She used quarter of the tickets, and she gave away 3/11 of the remainder. If Amanda sold the remaining tickets for $3 each, how much money would she get? So we are saying that she lost a fraction and she used a fraction. So we're going to add this together so that we can find out what amount she no longer has, and then we can find the remainder. Okay, 2/10 plus 1/4. So 2/10 is also equivalent to 2 into 2 is 1, 2 into 10 is 5. So 1/5 plus 1/4, that is what was used, 1/5 was lost. So we can add these two together. The LCM of 5 and 4 is 20. 5 into 20 is 4, 1 4 is 4, plus 4 into 20 is 5, 1 5 is 5. 4 plus 5 is 9, so that's 9/20. Okay, so she lost, what is lost and used combined is 9/20. So what remains is 1 whole take away 9/20, and that can be written as 20 over 20 take away 9 over 20. 20 take away 9 is 11. So the remaining fraction after she lost and used a particular amount is 11/20. So they're telling us here that she gave away 3/11 of the remainder. So let's work that out. 3/11 of the remainder, so that's 3/11 of 11/20. 11 to 11 1, 11 to 11 1. So that would be 3 times 1 is 1 over 3 times 1 is 3, over 20. Okay, now if Amanda sold the remaining tickets for $3 each, how much would she get? So before we work that out, let's see what we know so far. So she lost and used 9/20, and she gave away 3/20. So she no longer has those two fractions. So we can add those two fractions together. So let's add them. 9/20 and 3/20. That will be equal to 12/20. We can say 4 into 12 is 3. And 4 into 20 is 5. So 3/5 is what she no longer has. That is the combination of what is lost, what is used, and what is given away. So if we take that away from the total, we can know what she has. 1 take away 3/5, which can be written as 5 over 5, take away 3 over 5, and we get 2 over 5. So that's the remaining fraction that she has to sell. Right, so it's 150 tickets. So 2/5 of the 150 tickets, that's 2/5 multiplied by 150. 5 into 5, 1, 5 into 15, 3. Keep the end 0. 2 times 30 is 60. So that's 60 tickets to be sold. And the tickets sold for $3 each. So 60 times 3 is equal to $180. And that's your answer. Question 6. Harold had some popsicle sticks. He gave Jim 1/8, he gave Dan 1/5, and he gave Gail 1/4. 4/17 of the remainder broke. If the amount of popsicles that were broken was 16, how much popsicle sticks did they each get? So we need to determine the remainder so that we can find the fraction of the remainder which broke. Alright, so the remainder is that fraction that we have after Jim got 1/8, Dan got 1/5, and Gail got 1/4. So let's add those three fractions together. 1/8, 1/5, and 1/4. So we need to find the LCM of these numbers. From the tables we can know this. So both 8, 5, and 4 can go into 40. 8 into 40 is 5, 1 5 is 5. 5 into 40 is 8, 1 8 is 8. 4 into 40 is 10, 1 10 is 10. So that's 10 and 8 is 18. 18 plus 5 is 23. So that's 23 out of 40. So the total fraction given away is 23 out of 40. Okay, so the remaining fraction would be a whole take away 23 out of 40. So that's 40 out of 40 take away 23 out of 40. 40 take away 23 is 17, so that's 17 over 40. So the fraction that broke, they are telling us that 4/17 of the remainder broke. And the remainder is, as we just worked out, 17 out of 40. So we need to find 4/17 of 17 out of 40, or 17/40ths. Okay, 17 to 17 1, 17 to 17 1, 4 into 4 1, 4 into 40 is 10. So that's 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 10 is 10. So 1/10 of the total broke. If the amount of popsicles that were broken was 16, how much popsicle sticks did they each get? Okay, so reminder, when we have a fraction that is equal to an amount, which we do have, we have the fraction that was broken is 1/10, and they told us that this is 16. If we have a fraction that is equal to an amount, we can flip the fraction, so this now becomes 10 over 1, and multiply it by the amount the fraction is equal to, which is 16. And we will get the total. So 10 times 16 is 160. That's 160 popsicle sticks. Okay. So now that we know the total, which is important, we can now determine how much popsicle sticks they each got. So Jim got 1/8, Dan got 1/5, and Gail got 1/4. So Jim got 1/8 of the total, which is 160. 8 into 8 1, 8 into 16 2, put back the n 0, so that's 20 popsicle sticks. We let's put PS for short. Dan got 1/5 of the 160 popsicle sticks. 5 into 5 1, 5 into 160 is 32, so that's 1 times 32 is 32 popsicle sticks. And Gail got 1/4 of the 160. 4 into 4 1, 4 into 16 4, put back the n 0, so that's 40 popsicle sticks. Of course you all need to write the whole word popsicle sticks. Okay, last question. Question 7. A school went on a field trip to the zoo. The group traveled by either buses or maxi taxis. The buses transported 7/12 of the school, and the remainder boarded the maxi taxis. On the return trip, 2/3 of the occupants of the bus and 2/5 of those on the maxi taxi dropped off at their homes. The vehicles returned to the school with 104 passengers. How many persons went on the trip? So this is a somewhat more challenging question than the previous ones. So take your time, read the question, think about it. So now we will go through the solution. So we are seeing here that the buses transported 7/12 of the students, and the remainder boarded the maxi taxis. So let's find the remainder. The fraction boarding the maxi taxis. So as 7/12 boarded the bus, the remainder is 12/12 take away 7/12, which will give us 5/12. The next thing we need to do is determine what fraction dropped off the person's home by the bus. Okay, so they told us on the return trip, 2/3 of the occupants of the bus dropped off at their homes, right? And 2/5 of those on the maxi taxis. So 2/3 of the bus, 2/3 of the persons boarding the bus. So that would be 2/3 of the persons boarding the bus was 7/12. 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 12, 6. So that's 1 times 7 is 7, 2 times 6 is, 3 times 6, sorry, 18. So that's 7/18 of the students dropped off home from the bus. Okay, so now we're going to work out the fraction that dropped off home by the maxi taxis. Alright, so we just worked out that 5/12 was on the maxi taxi, and they are telling us that 2/5 of these were dropped off home. So 2/5 of 5/12. Two into 2, 1, 2 into 12, 6. 5 into 5, 1, 5 into 5, 1. So that's 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 6 is 6. So 1/6 of the students were dropped off home by the maxi taxi. So that's a total of 7/18 plus 1/6 of the persons being dropped off home. So we add this, 7/18 plus 1/6. 1/6 can be written as an equivalent fraction. If we multiply by 3 on top and 3 below, we'll get 1 3 is 3 and 6 3s are 18. So 1/6 can be written as 3/18. 7 plus 3 is 10. That's 10 over 18. This can be reduced by saying 2 into 10 is 5 and 2 into 18 is 9. So next we're going to work out the fraction that returned to the school. And that is because they are asking us, or rather they are telling us, the vehicles returned to the school with 104 passengers. Now they are asking us how many persons went on the trip. So remember, if we have an amount that is equal to a fraction, we can determine the total. So we have an amount 104 that returned to the school. So we know that the total fraction dropped off home was 5/9. So we can find a fraction that returned to the school because the remainder returned to the school. So that's 1 whole, take away 5 9ths, and that will give us 4 9ths. So 4 9ths returned to the school, and they're telling us that 4 9ths is equal to 104 students. So again, reminder, we can find the total when given a fraction is equal to an amount. We can do this by flipping the fraction, so 4 9ths become 9 over 4, and we can multiply it by the amount the fraction is equal to. So 4 9ths is equal to 104, so we multiply by 104. 4 into 4, 1, 4 into 10, 2, remainder 2, 4 into 24, 6. So 9 times 26 will give you the total amount of persons that went on the field trip. 9 6s are 54, 9 2s are 18, plus 5 is 23. That's 234 students that return, in total. Okay, so we worked out the answer already. So total amount of students that went on the trip is 234. So that's the end of question 7, and that brings us to the end of these questions. Thank you. Thank you for watching. If you have found this video to be helpful, please feel free to contact us for more information about our classes.